the age of the house, and then the add-on part kind of.
But they kept it in style.
Right.
It's also been converted to apartments. It's also been converted to apartments. It's no longer a single family.
Yeah, I see, yeah. Yep. Seabird Alley.
It's a pretty house. This one here on the corner.
Is that an old house?
Yeah, it is.
301 Broadway.
I think it's a bed and breakfast now, but I can't remember for sure.
It could be. I got a big yard.
Maybe not. Maybe it is still a private residence. But I was fairly certain this one switched over to a bed and breakfast. Yeah, see, this one says pre-Civil War building on the plaque. Huh? I like that they still have the original shutters.
Yeah.
Elements from the 2nd North Carolina Cavalry Regiment charged past this point in pursuit of disorganized remnants of the 18th Pennsylvania Cavalry Regiment, which was retreating toward the railroad tracks. Oh, that's part of the Battle of Hanover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon we can. They got two different styles of shutters on that house, and none of them are original.
Right.
And you know they're not original because they don't fit the windows.
Right.
Okay. The day nursery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
80 years.
Yeah. It's been a nursery school for as long as I can remember. Clearly longer than I've been around.
Yeah.
It does. This is pre-Civil War house.
Yeah. Certification. And that building, I think it was added on to.
Yeah. You know it was because first you can see the line on the brick.
Yeah.
But more importantly, look at the spacing between the windows.
Yeah.
Okay? This is the original half. This one was added on.
Yeah.
Which is why these two buildings are so close. They're not supposed to be that close.
They connected it to this building.
Right. But it wasn't originally connected there.
Oh.
But yeah, at some point. Now, here's the catch. At least part of that house is pre-Civil War. But not all of that house is pre-Civil War.
Right. The first part of it, the red brick part of it.
Yeah. And the dormer at the top is a different time period altogether. The dormer in the attic may have been added when the extension was added, but it looks as though it may be a whole different time period altogether. That one was definitely not a leave no trace. There is a trace of the old building there.
These old houses have character.
They do.
You'd never see a spiral ceiling like that around ceiling like that today.
No, because it takes A, skill, and B, time. And that's just not something that today's world is willing to give.
Yeah. I love that old architecture. You got the balcony up there, see that? The balustrade, I guess, is that what they call those?
It's a balcony.
But I don't see a way to get to it.
Those dormer windows on the side, in the round dormers, the side window toward the balcony is how they would have accessed that balcony.
That would have been a door?
No,
That would
no.
have just gone through the
You
window?
can just walk through that window.
Huh. Interesting. It's a beautiful house.
I mean, those balconies weren't used on the regular.
Sure.
Okay. But, yeah, if they accessed it, it would have been through those windows.
It's a huge house right there. It's huge. I like the columns.
That one.
So, was that a brick house at one time then, the Ambets building?
It was probably a wood house. This one is wood under that siding.
Okay, alright.
And this one has an enclosed porch added on where it wasn't before.
Right.
I only know because I remember those houses before they did all that crazy stuff.
Right. Looks like it might have been a theater or something at one point. Is that a bank now?
It was built as a bank.
Was it? Oh, it was always a bank?
It was. I don't know what it is right now, but it used to be a bank.
Now, I believe it's a lawyer, there's a bunch of lawyers in there.
Thank you.
It's now what?
There you go. Yeah, it was built as a bank.
Ah, gotcha.
The old post office.
So now it's a business building.
Yes. And it was a bank. And it was a post office.
So it started as a bank and then it became a post office.
I believe so. I can't swear to that. That house has original shutters. In a lot of ways, it'd be nice if they just left the shutters off like they did on this one. When they resurfaced this red one here, because they retreated brick, they took away the catches for the shutters.
Uh-huh.
But that's okay, because they didn't have the original shutters.
And there's church, a beautiful Catholic church. No, that's a Reformed church, I think.
The Episcopal Church.
Episcopal.
It was.
It's UCC, United
Yeah.
Church of Christ.
Now it is.
It's a beautiful piece of architecture.
Yeah, see, it's Emmanuel Reformed. It used to be Emmanuel Reformed Church. Now it's
Emmanuel United Church of Christ.
And this has that dirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Battle took place around this area. Many pre-Civil War buildings, identified by numbered brass plaques, located at the main entrance.
Oh, this building over here used to be
One next to the church.
yeah. think at one time it was the library.
Ah. Right here is the front of a bookstore. Reader's Cafe. Built inside of an old church. I believe it was a Methodist church. Now it is a bookstore. It's been a bookstore for over 30 years. Reader's Cafe. Beautiful on the inside. You see an old piece of advertising on that building right up ahead of us.
That's one of the pre-Civil War buildings.
Pre-Civil War building with a huge painted ad for a hardware store. Right on the side of the building. Easily seen up and down Broadway Street here. The road that we're walking along.
Also known as the Abbottstown Pike.
Yeah, also known as Abbottstown Pike. But back before the Civil War days, I'm sure this was a well-traveled trail. Wouldn't have had all of these modern obstacles, telephone lines and all of that such. So that would have been a very clearly visible ad from a long way off. Cat's Nook. Standing in front of famous hot wieners.
Yeah. But more
And
importantly, the McAllister Hotel.
they are great wieners. And this building here is the McAllister Hotel.
The second one is
A long mainstay of Hanover culture. This is an interesting thoroughfare here. You have coming traffic from that way, and they can go down this little alley street or up York Street.
Now you can get a shot of that. Of that building.
Yeah.
Because that is prime architecture right there.
Yes, it is. Pre-Civil War building that is now a hot dog place. And it's
Only the first level is a hot dog place. The rest of it's apartments.
oh, it's apartments on the top. But that's a beautiful building, and the restaurant serving hot dogs is great. It serves great hot dogs. We are now in the downtown area of Hanover, Pennsylvania.
Now,
Clark's Shoe Outlet.
and the Hanover Shoe Farm are connected.
Clark's is headquartered here in Hanover. They make the shoes here, ship the shoes from here, all around the world. And this is their outlet store here in Hanover. This is the town square.
It used to be a roundabout.
Used to be a roundabout here. You can see there's no roundabout anymore, but this is
No, now we have a double set of lights because we took away the roundabout.
This is the main
Offset.
square in Hanover.
And all of these buildings except the M&T Bank building and the beer house over there are original bank buildings. Original buildings to the square. Well, and offices building.
This is Market House right here. Stood on this square from 1815 to 1872. There was a jail on one end, and equipment for fighting fires were kept here. They also had fairs and other public events here. One of the main buildings here in town. This little gazebo has several historical markers in it. Historical marker about the Battle of Hanover that took place here. This talks about the 19th century industrialization, what took place here in Hanover during the industrial era. So, you know, some bakeries popped up here, Snyder's, Utz Foods, a couple of pretzel places, some tanneries and cottage, leather cottages, leather cottage industries grew up here in Hanover. Hanover Glove Company, Meyer Shoe Company. They built buggies and other carriages in this area. Cigar making took off here in the late 19th, early 20th century. Brick making. So Hanover was one of the key places in the Industrial Revolution. Hanover was a part of the Revolutionary War, right along with York and Gettysburg in this area.
It was founded Hanover was founded in 1745.
The founder of Hanover was Richard McAllister in 1745. Hanoverians are very proud of their history.
Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, George and Martha Washington had all traveled through Hanover during Richard McAllister's lifetime.
Yeah, they probably met the man. Digis Choice, 1727. King Charles II of England granted William Penn a colony in America.
To pay the debt the king owed Penn's father, the land east of the Susquehanna River was an area almost as large as England. In 1736, Iroquois Indians signed a treaty that deeded to the Penns the Susquehanna River and lands west, including the area that became Hanover. In 1727, Marylander John Digges obtained a warrant for 10,000 acres from Charles Calvert, 4th Lord of Baltimore. This grant, Digges' Choice, also covered land that became Hanover. By 1730, settlers were securing land deeds from Digges in and around present-day Hanover.
A little bit of history about how Hanover came to be.
The Mason-Dixon line for years and years and years moved based on which land grant you were going by, whether it was Penn's or Digges.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then this talks about the Hanover architecture. There's a lot of really neat, interesting architecture here that represents several historical periods, including Victorian, Italianate, Romanesque, Neoclassical, Art Deco, and Beaux Art. So you can see a little history of architecture just by looking at the buildings here in Hanover, Pennsylvania. And of course, there's some cultural and entertainment things here in Hanover, including the Eichelberger Performing Arts Center, which is around the corner from here, not far. marker talks about the 20th century manufacturing plants that grew up here in Hanover, shoe companies, a wire company, snack and food production companies, mail order businesses, a lot of different kinds of businesses that grew up here, including Doubleday Books, which once had a large publication center here in this area, so right here in Hanover. And this one talks about inventions that took place here in Hanover, including the Fitz water wheel, wire cloth loom, and the Hanover car, which launched in 1921. The Hanover Motor Car Company started developing automobiles. So you can see Hanover's got a rich history, a lot of innovation and culture, architecture. And now it's just another modern small town with a lot going on, as you can see. Traffic moving through at a pretty rapid pace.
Yeah.
Okay, ready to move on?